welcome to 15-Minute Makes. My name's Claire and today we're going to be making Remembrance Day crafts. So what you'll need for today's craft is a jar, a jam jar or a chutney jar is absolutely fine, glue, I've got Mod Podge but you could use PVA, a felt tip black pen, scissors and some red paper. If you haven't got red paper like me, it's absolutely fine. Go through an old magazine and find all the red pages and cut them out and we'll use this instead. So you're going to start by cutting out poppy shapes just like this one. So I've gone for the traditional Remembrance poppy shape, which is two big lumps attached to each other. So I'm going to take a piece of my red magazine and I'm going to cut one of these little shapes out. So you can do these as big or small as you want. I've kept mine quite little so it's dainty on my jar. But you can do them a variety of sizes. So you're going to cut a lump and go in one petal and you're going to do the other petal on top. So it's going to look like a number 8. Okie dokie. Once you've cut out a bunch of poppies like I've done earlier, you're going to take a black felt tip pen and we're going to do the black centres in the middle of them. Simply one big black circle in the middle of each poppy. Like so. Really easy peasy. Go over it again if you need to make them a bit darker. And they already look like they're coming together beautifully. So I'm going to fill these in so they're ready to stick down. I've got about a handful of them, so I've got enough to fill my jar, but not too many to make it look too cluttered. Perfect. I think I'm just going to cut out one other poppy. And the great thing about using magazine paper is that it's really thin. So the thinner your paper is, the much easier it will be to decoupage down onto the jar. If you're using quite thick card, you might have to wrestle with it a bit. It'll work just as well, but it'll just be a bit trickier to stick down. Right, so we can start with our sticking. You're going to take your jar and you're going to stick the poppies down like these that I did earlier. So there's a dried one. These have still got wet glue on them, which is why there's a lot of white there. The glue does dry transparent, so you're not to worry about it getting everywhere because it'll still look like that at the very end. So how you're going to do this is take a bit of your glue. If you've got PVA, you could water it down a bit to save on glue. Take some glue, pop a blob of your glue onto your jar quite generously, like so. You're then going to take a poppy and you're going to stick it straight onto your jar like that. You're then going to seal that poppy over the top with more glue. This makes sure that it stays down, it's nice and sealed onto the jar and it keeps it really neat and flat. Beautiful. Once that's on, you can keep repeating that anywhere you want on your jar. So you can compose these wherever you think they look best. And once you've sealed your poppy with some glue over the top, make sure to wipe away with your paintbrush just the excess glue. It's already looking really lovely. Take the excess glue off these. Now I've decided with my jar, I'm just going to keep my poppies quite spread out because I'm going to put a tea light in this jar when I'm done, so that all the lovely light will shine through and it will illuminate my poppies. So I don't want to put too many on because I want the glowing light to shine between them. Beautiful. It's all coming together really nicely. And another. And I'm going to put some round the bottom here. Now, if your jar is quite curved, it can be a bit of a struggle to stick these down because the paper doesn't always like curving round, so you'll have to wrestle with it a bit. But the more glue that you use to stick it down, the more it stays. Like that, like I've put a lot of glue in that there, but don't worry about that because then you can just smooth it over and take all the excess glue off afterwards. This is looking really nice. I'm going to put another one up here. At the top. Lovely. And you can see it's starting to dry in certain places, like here, so the glue's going a lot more see-through, which is what we want. Now I've got this big gap up here that I'm going to add to. So a generous amount of glue. Pop a poppy on and seal it. And if you wanted to do this decoupaging on something that isn't a jar, you can do it on anything. The great thing about decoupage is that it'll adapt to so many things. You can do it on furniture, you can do it on shoe boxes, you can do it on all sorts. And it always looks really lovely and effective. If it's struggling to stick down a bit, like this one's quite lumpy, sometimes I like to take a little bit of glue on my finger and just massage the paper down into the crevices. And that now has stuck a lot better. And afterwards, as usual, remove all the excess glue, like so. Now then, I've got a gap up here. how gorgeous. Oh. And I will also add to this gap here. Perfect. Last few now. One at the top. And one here. I'm going to use this big one, see if it fits. Just. Now I've spread mine out, but if you want to put lots on, you could fill it with poppies, which will look really beautiful, like a patchwork Remembrance Day jar. And I'm going to put my final poppy in this space, just here. Now this is a really therapeutic and lovely craft to do for all ages, to sit down and work on something lovely like this. And in the end, you're left with this gorgeous, beautifully decorated jar that you can use for all sorts of things. But today I have a little battery powered tea light that I am going to put inside my jar and light it for Remembrance Day. So if you've enjoyed making with us today and you have creations that you want to show, please upload photos online and tag us at the Old Courts and hashtag 15minute makes. Thank you very much.
If you've enjoyed watching the Old Courts live and you'd like to make a donation to support the work we do, please head over to www.theoldcourts.com/donate. This year's been incredibly difficult for most arts organisations and we're no different. But with a huge effort and support from you and from our funders, we've managed to secure our organisation and the jobs of every staff member. We've also provided 343 artists with paid work for the Old Courts Live. And our volunteers have delivered over 700 food parcels and made 600 calls to isolated local residents. But the battle isn't over yet. We're currently closed to the public with zero income and we don't know how long this closure is going to last. If you can help by making a donation, then you're helping to secure your art